Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 2023's It's a Wonderful Knife. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_Idol. And if you want to follow the show, you could follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Kiss the Reviews. Let's get into the cast of Shudder's 2023 It's a Wonderful Knife. This film stars Jane Widdop as Winnie Carruthers, Joel McHale as David Carruthers, Justin Long as Henry Waters, Jess McLeod as Bernie Simon, and Katharine Isabelle as Gale Prescott.
Before we get started, a couple notes. One, I didn't think this sentence existed in the zeitgeist, and I might be one of the first people to say it, but I'm a Justin Long fan.
I love Justin Long.
Everything he's in, I actually really like, and I don't think anybody's actually ever vocalized that.
I do love everything Justin Long is in for the most part. I like him as an actor. Mm-hmm. But if I had to make a rule about any time Justin Long shows up in a movie, whether he's the star of the movie or he just makes a cameo, he needs to talk like this. I love this Justin Long voice.
Thank you.
Let's just clear the air. Brandon St. Randy is one of the greatest characters ever put on film, and he deserves his entire own series of films, starting with an origin story, because he is fantastic.
100%. One of my favorite characters of all time.
But with that, I would also say that Joel McHale, this is by far the best acting I have ever seen him do. That motherfucker brought it on this shit. He did a great job.
And I'll be honest, there's been a lot of hubbub about It's a Wonderful Knife. I didn't, obviously from the title of the movie, you kind of get an idea of what it's about and yada yada, but I didn't really know anything about it going in. I knew that Justin Long was in it. I didn't even realize Joel McHale was in it because I did this much research on this movie because I like to be surprised, especially with horror. And I was almost expecting like a low budget looking, kind of like almost like a 70s style shot film. Mm-hmm. And immediately from the opening, I was like, oh no, this is a thing. Like this already looks, it's shot really well. Like it didn't have the old school feel to it. I was pleasantly surprised. Immediately seeing Justin Long, immediately seeing Joel McHale, like within the first two scenes of the movie, I was like, all right, my feet are up, and now I'm just enjoying the rest of this film.
Yeah, I mean, what else could you do?
Yeah, no, it's great. So
Justin Long's character alone looking like Joel Osteen this whole time is enough to get you bought in.
The chompers that this son of a bitch has is fucking fantastic. But let's get into this. So it opens with Justin Long as Henry Waters. He's like the Prince of Angel Falls. And they're lighting the tree in like the downtown area of this, small town. And right afterwards, Henry Waters stops David and Winnie and their family as they walk after the ceremony. And he's trying to get David to get Roger Evans to sign paperwork to sell his house so they can build Waters Cove, his big dream. I don't know if it's like a mall or like
it's soda sopa. Soda sopa.
Soda sopa. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's soda sopa.
Soda sopa. Welcome home.
Like this whole setup, I was like, oh, this is literally nowhere to run. Like I got transported back. I was like, dude, I can't escape Jean-Claude Van Damme in any of these goddamn reviews. As soon as he mentioned that.
I'll be honest with you. If the killer was running around chasing the girl at the beginning of the movie and Jean-Claude Van Damme came out and just high kicked some bitch or kicked the killer in the face, all the way bought in, and this becomes Jean-Claude's best movie ever made.
100%.
That would have been amazing.
But we then get, and again, what I really liked about this is they got to the scary, they got to the plot, and they got out. Because you get David and Henry going to Roger's house, him refusing to sell his house, and he manages to take some pot shots at Henry in the process. Like, you're basically not even half the man that your dad was, and yada yada. Like, this whole thing. Okay, I know we've said some things about, you know, the older generation on this show. However, old people that like don't give a fuck anymore, like they've lost all fucks, are some of my favorite people, because they just say whatever the hell. It's just, there's no filter in here anymore. And it just comes out. And part of me really, really likes that and can't wait for the time that I get there.
You're there.
You're like there. Fully there. I'm not fully there yet.
I mean, you don't have gray hair, but age-wise, you're there. Attitude-wise, you're there.
You were correct.
So we cut to the Carruthers family. They're preparing for Christmas. They're hanging ornaments. Winnie and Kara, who's Roger's granddaughter, then go to this Christmas party. And we cut back to Roger's house. After David and Henry leave, he gets the knock at the door. And when he opens it, he's attacked by like the Pope in the big white, you know, angel dress, and he slits his throat. Now we've like kicked off into the movie, and we're only like 15 minutes in. Roughly.
Yeah, and I appreciate the killer because they literally took the best part of Exorcist 3, which was the nun walking out of the hotel room, and just made that their killer. And it works perfectly because it's awesome.
I love the mask. The mask is fantastic. And we talked about it when we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre last week. And it's like, you have the ability with these horror movies to make this iconic kind of killer, whether it's Ghostface or Freddy or Jason or any of the number of these guys. This is like one of those. And part of it, he's got to look cool. And this dude looks cool as shit. It looks dope. It's one of my favorite like get-ups of a killer.
Yeah, it's almost like if Ghostface is the yin, this is the yang.
Yeah.
It's just the perfect opposite exactly of what Ghostface is, and it works to a T. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so after this, we cut to, you know, Kara's making out with a guy. He takes a candy cane through the back of the head, and Kara is murdered in front of everyone as she tries to get back into the party. But dude, this whole makeout scene between Kara and this dude, and then she's like, what's going on? He just spits up blood, and then it's just like it just cuts right through, and the candy cane comes out of his mouth. One of the best kills in a horror movie.
And her reaction, too, is so funny because they start to kiss, and she's like, ooh, what did you eat?
It tastes like metal.
And even for a second, because they don't show it exactly right away,
yeah,
you're just kind of laughing at it, like, oh, this motherfucker had, like, onions or something a minute ago, and now he's trying to make out with his girl. Nope. That's a whole-ass candy cane going through his fucking mouth.
Yes.
He is all kinds of dead. It's so good.
Oh, it's fantastic. And then after Kara gets killed, Winnie gets away because she goes outside. She gets attacked. She gets away. She hides behind a tree or whatever. She's attacked again, but her brother ends up saving her. And Winnie ends up electrocuting the angel murderer and saves her brother from getting murdered. And she unmasks, and it's Henry Waters is the killer. And what I really liked about this, because after this, it cuts to a year later. This is like 2 movies in one.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
I love how they did this. I do have one issue, however. So we cut to a year later, right? Winnie finds out that she didn't get into NYU because she's a photographer and yada yada, and she really isn't into the Christmas spirit because, you know, her best friend got murdered on Christmas Eve a year ago. And like, everybody is like, why don't you just get over it? Okay.
I love it.
I got an issue with all this because I would basically do what Winnie does here and lash out at pretty much everybody. Like, do you understand what the fuck happened to me a year ago? How about you back the fuck off and settle down with the whole like, oh, you need to get over it. I know your best friend got murdered in front of you and all.
Dude, it's such brilliant. I don't know if satire is the right word yet. I don't know if they start diving into the satire just yet, but
yeah,
it's so emblematic of how we are just as a people anymore. You know, like shooting happened. All right. Moving on. This happened. Moving on. You just keep pressing forward, almost put blinders on, which is what like literally this entire town has done.
Yeah.
And she's the only one like just desperately trying to get somebody to recognize the fact. And nobody will.
Yeah.
And then you put the fucking match to the kerosene by giving her a pink fucking workout outfit.
Who is she, P. Diddy?
And her brother gets a car?
Yeah. By the way, okay, let's discuss this. Because she gets like the pink velour fucking tracksuit, and which on let's say on Amazon cost him about $25, and then her brother gets a fucking $65,000 GMC lifted pickup truck, which, by the way, I do love. And I'm sure all the hubbub that the Christian conservative community is taking up with this movie. I loved all of the reasons that they're pissed. I love every aspect of this movie. The fact that the star high school quarterback is not only a gay man, but loves his fucking big lifted GMC pickup truck, and just he's such a manly guy, but also happens to be gay. Probably one of my favorite calls in this fucking movie. I love that.
Oh yeah, no, all of the gayness in this movie is very much appreciated, and I love it. I love that these fucking whiny, pouty bitches have to find something every single Christmas to bitch about, and all they do this year is make this movie huge.
Hell yes.
Yes. Well, and I appreciate the fact that they didn't go stereotypical with it. The fact that they cut against the grain is what I really appreciated with it, because I don't know. I just don't think the movie would have played as well if like, I'm the star quarterback. Like if that was the character, I would, you know, it just doesn't play well. The fact that they kind of went against all of that stuff with the movies made me happy. I loved all of those characters.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's almost like they treated gay people
like
they were people.
Like, yeah, that's weird, isn't it? So we cut to Winnie. She runs into Buck Waters, Henry's brother. He threatens her, and then he like just goes away, like he's all cracked out or whatever. And this is where we get the, you know, Christmas gift scene where she gets her pink velour jumpsuit like she's fucking Eminem. But then Winnie goes to a Christmas party at her boyfriend Robbie's house. Now, her and Robbie have been dating for quite some time. And she sees that he's cheating on her with a friend of hers. And I have an issue with this scene as well, for this particular reason. Not that, you know, cheating. Yeah, cheating's bad. Cool, whatever. You know, that's agreed. But when she calls them out for it, and they're like, oh, yeah, you know, it's been happening for about a year now. So literally, the day after her best friend gets murdered, he's like, you know what I want to do? I want to bang my girlfriend's best friend. Like literally the day after. He makes it sound like, oh, you were just unavailable and you're never present. It was the day after my best friend got murdered and I got attacked.
Hey,
and I killed a guy.
hey, pal, I'm sad too, and I need to bury this thing into something to make me feel better. It's not all about you, Winnie. Robbie has feelings too, and they needed to be tended to.
Immediately. They needed to immediately be attended to, apparently.
Yes.
After the Christmas party, Winnie then goes down to the water and wishes that she was never born. Some weird light shit happens. And then all of a sudden she sees, the murdering Pope pop out from around the corner, kills some dude, starts chasing her. And then she very shortly realizes that she's basically in this like alternate reality.
Yeah.
And nobody knows her.
I feel like this is an important cautionary tale right now.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. So you're a little down on life, and you see an aurora borealis above you. That's just radiation from the sun mixing with the atmosphere. Don't
Science.
make a wish. Don't make a wish on it. Nothing's gonna happen. Just a hot tip. Don't look for the aurora to change your life. It ain't happening.
Whatever, you science bitch.
Take a pretty picture and move on.
I'll make a wish on whatever I goddamn want to, okay? Jerk, don't tell me how to live my life.
It's fine. Make all the wishes you want.
Listen, my tiny pea brain doesn't understand gases and things. I'll make a wish on whatever the fuck I want to. Buck here is like the sheriff now. Henry is the mayor. Buck tells Winnie that like, oh, the angel killer's been doing this shit for like a year and he strikes every couple of weeks or so. And she then sees Henry come up to her to console her, and she realizes that he's the mayor, and this kind of sends her into like this fucking, like she's just start running around trying to find people that she knows that know her. She goes home, finds her mom just drunk. Her dad's pissed that she's looking for her brother. Like this whole scene. And I really like it because when she gets home, like that house at the beginning, and I love this. It's a newer house. It's wide open floor plan. It's always bright and white and nice. And when she gets here now, everything's just dark. There's like no lights on in the house. Like the contrast between the two is fucking awesome.
No, it's fantastic. And Winnie makes a mistake here when she's confronted by Justin Long. And, he's like, oh, you got to look at the killer, huh? And she's like, no, I really didn't. Smart move.
Yes.
Because she knows it's him. But then she goes, but he seemed to be about your height. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not Claire Reese. You don't have any idea what you're doing right now. You just found out you're in an alternate reality. Learn the rules there first before you start taunting the killer. Just an idea.
You were right.
And this is where Joel McHale's acting really goes off.
Yes.
Like from the second she is confronted by him, or she confronts him rather, and him through the rest of this film, I've never seen this guy before.
No, he's brilliant in this, because this is where she finds out that her brother Jimmy was killed that night. And he goes to this like, McHale goes to this like really dark place, and I fucking love it. I loved every minute of it. But she also sees that Waters Cove, Soda Sopa has happened. Like it's a thing.
Yep.
And she then goes to Robbie's house to his Christmas party. She sees like everyone is literally cracked the fuck out. Like everybody's on meth. And she sees Bernie, who's the weirdo from earlier. She asks her for help. And Bernie decides that she's going to help her, and as she tries to basically explain that, like, yeah, I'm in this alternate reality. And of course, Bernie's like, fucking dope. Like, this seems like a great journey to take. Let's go ahead.
All they're doing is throwing beer at my head. I might as well just follow you along on your crazy journey. And what I love about when you do see Waters Cove, it's got the bright towers and the spotlights going back and forth.
Yep.
And it's separated by this rickety old shitty wooden fence. And everybody on the other side of that fence are the cracked out kids.
Yes.
Nobody else in this story, I don't even know if Waters Cove is actually functional. You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those like cities you hear about in China where they just build up this huge fucking tenement building and then it's empty. Nobody lives there because it's all just a facade.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird what like the dynamic in this town has become.
Yep. They have just plastic fruit in the grocery store.
And I gotta ask, so you finally, like, the whole reason behind the killing was Soda Sopa, right? Like, I want to build Soda Sopa. All these people are standing in my way. I'll just murk them out.
Yeah.
Cool. Solid plan. Totally with it. I'm white too. I understand how we do this. But I've been at the meetings. But by continuing to kill everybody, Angel's Cove or whatever the town has become, Demon's Cove now, and you know what I mean? There's 28, 29 deaths. Who the fuck is moving there? Like, you created this spot to draw people in, and then you murder everybody. Like, what in the fuck are you doing?
This is a Scooby-Doo villain plan. That's what this is.
Or Joel Osteen.
The angel murderer then shows up here. He kills the crackhead at Robbie's party, which is fantastic. And by the way, I know it's been said a million times. This isn't a new joke, but you ain't catching a fucking crackhead. Okay? That crackhead gets away 9 out of 10 times. Or 9.9 out of 10 times. You ain't catching him. He's the gate's locked? He's leaping over the gate. Just FYI. But
Dave Chappelle put all of those arguments to rest.
Absolutely. So Winnie then takes Bernie. They leave the party and try to stop the killer. And they realize that Henry kept killing all of the business owners in this alternate reality. And the angel then shows up at Bernie's house, attacks them, but then they get away and go to the movie theater where Bernie works. With horror movies, there's always this like, you know, we make fun of the tropes and it's like, dude, just run. What are you doing? Just get out of here. Or in a situation like this where somebody shows up and, you know, Bernie, characters like Bernie will typically just go, oh, okay, like, I believe everything you say from the moment you say them. And like, you know all these people's names, but they don't know you. So obviously you're in an alternate reality and don't have the internet and couldn't have looked all these people up. She questions it kind of from jump, but she's like, I'm just along for the ride because I just want to see, this is exciting, but I also think that you could be the killer until the killer jumps through the window. I just like that whole thing.
And just to extrapolate a little bit more on what you were saying, I love that she has the conversation with Bernie, and they have to spend so much time in the movie with her convincing Bernie of what's happening. It happened in Happy Death Day, happens in all of these things. You have to have that time. But what they didn't do was have her explain it to every fucking person she met.
Yes.
Like when they run into her aunt and they finally tell her aunt, like, oh, I'm from an alternate reality. This is what happened. And she's like, tell me something I don't know. Your ass froze to the ground because you're wearing this thong. Boom. You're my niece. Done. Like the conversation's done at that point.
Yeah, I love
one
that.
tidbit and it was over.
Yep.
I appreciated that so much because they could have drugged this out from an 87-minute runtime, 10, 20 more minutes, and just had her explaining over and over and over again, which they've done in other movies. And it's just exhausting.
It is exhausting, and it's frustrating as the viewer when it's like, yeah, I'm watching the movie. Like, this isn't really happening. This is a movie. We all know the score, okay?
Yep.
Just, you got to the score. Everybody knows the deal. You don't have to explain it 15 more times because the dumbasses in the back didn't catch it the first time. Just, I really appreciated that here too. And they end up going, so they're at the movie theater. Bernie figures out that they're, because of the Aurora Borealis, and she's in this alternate reality because she needs to kill Henry Waters before the Aurora disappears. Or else she'll be stuck in their reality. So they realize that they need to get close to him, and they can't. So they go to her dad because he's the closest one.
Yep.
And this whole scene, this is where you get the aunt letting them in after the whole thong ass frozen to the ice. And when she goes up there and talks to her dad, where he's just, he goes, it takes you on this ride because it's very emotional, and he starts talking about his son. As soon as she brings up Henry's name, he loses his fucking mind. Mm-hmm. And like that really soft, my dad's crying, and then all of a sudden it's this angry, like, get the fuck out of my house. It's so fantastic. Like, this is the Joel McHale scene.
Yeah, dude. I've been a fan of McHale since The Soup and his stand-up and Community projects he's done. I like Joel McHale. Never really thought he could do this.
No, the range is great.
This was fantastic. I was blown away by his performance in this one scene.
Yep. So after this, they go downstairs. The killer comes crashing in, kills Winnie's mom, chases them up the stairs. Winnie knocks him down the stairs, hits him across the head like a fucking WWE wrestler with like the painting across the head. And we get the killer unconscious at the bottom of the stairs scene. And again, I do like and appreciate how they did this, because as they're like, well, we got to get out of here. We got to step over this guy so we can get out. And I'm like, no, the whole purpose, you literally just explained it to us 2 scenes ago. The purpose is to kill this dude.
Exactly.
So and I'm like, how are they going to explain that they're trying to get away when he's right here? And then when she straddles him, that's when she picks up the knife. But just an FYI, folks, and I'm just going to do this.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, people out there that are being chased by a killer that you need to kill to get out of the, alternate reality that you've built for yourself. You are now face to face with said killer. You're straddling said killer with a large dagger in your hand. You want to know, we all want the Scooby-Doo reveal, okay? Mm-hmm. You just stab, 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 then take off the mask, and everything's good to go, okay?
Yeah, kill first, then reveal.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're ever in this situation, don't unmask first. The unmasking comes later. You can unmask a dead body at any point in time. So just get to the stabby and then do the masky, okay?
Yeah, when you're on Drag Race, you do the reveal and then you kill it. When you're with a murderer, you kill them and then you reveal who they are.
Yes, exactly. So she goes to unmask. She realizes that it's her father under the mask. And the girls then figure out that Waters killed the first few people to start and then basically had her dad doing his bidding from there on out. So now she has to kill her dad.
Yeah, basically the mayor killed Jimmy, her brother.
Yeah.
And then was able to manipulate her father into joining along because of his fragile state and yada yada. So
yep, exactly. So
again, it's a nice bow, and a lot of times you're just like, ugh. But somehow, how they figure things out and they tie a pretty little bow on it. It's like, here's my movie.
Yeah. And
everything worked out. I normally am not a big fan of that, but I like how they're figuring stuff out here slowly but surely, almost with these little brainstorming sessions as they're running. Why is that my dad and it's not Waters? I don't know. Maybe he got him along. Oh yeah, it makes sense. Get the fuck out of here. And then they just run away.
No, it plays well because then they go back with her aunt. They go back to the movie theater and they try to lure her dad to the movie theater. But then Robbie and Darla show up and Winnie's aunt gets murked here by her dad. This kill is great. And I always love these kills in horror movies where it's just like, all right, we got everything ready, we're prepared, blah, blah, blah. Oh, hey, by the way, and then you catch one in the back or you just go through the door and immediately you get murked.
This is literally one of the most important rules in the Scream franchise is when she's like, I'm going to go get some air. I'll be right back.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye.
Those are I know it's
coming back.
Yeah, I know it's cliche. I know it's whatever, but this one doesn't really bother me. I enjoy that. Like the walk out and then the walk back in with like, I don't know, a knife in your throat or your back or whatever. I always enjoy that.
Well, yeah, I think, and this is an important thing with filmmaking, I think, especially, or even writing, is the tropes and the cliches are there largely because they work.
Yeah.
It's how you present them.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's presented correctly, you don't care. You don't notice it.
Yep.
Or you appreciate it because they're kind of taking a shit on it like they did in Scream. So if you do the cliches and the tropes right, they're great. They're important and they work. That's why they're there.
Yep.
But when you just fumble them around and when you're bobbling, like almost every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie we've ever fucking reviewed.
Yes.
It falls apart and it seems stupid and trite and boring.
Yeah.
So again, like Armando said, I appreciate this kill and I appreciate how we all know it's coming, but we're still shocked when it comes.
Yeah. And all the lights go down here. And this is where she starts using Bernie's camera as the flash, which again, as you're watching the movie, like this might give you, like, if you already have epilepsy,
dude,
this might be an issue. But this scene is so great. Like it's shot really well. And you get the flashes and you just see like little bits of stuff, little bits of people get murked and like whatever. It's so great. And then her dad chases Winnie up the stairs in the movie theater. And this is where she stabs him and she kills her father. But nothing happens after this because they go to the water and nothing happens. So after this, so they're at the water. They hear Henry Waters speaking at this little event thing that he has going on. So they walk over there, and when they get there, everyone in the town that's there is in a trance. Henry kills his brother on stage. He sees Winnie and Bernie, and he has his lackeys bring them up on stage. And I did like this scene because this is where like Bernie punches him in the face, and then they both just start beating the fuck out of him and just punching him in the face.
And it's believable because it's one of those things, and this is no offense again to anybody, but it does seem like this is one of those situations where it's like, I can see two teenage girls kicking the shit out of Justin Long. No problem.
Well, and the Henry Waters character is such a bitch. Like, I know he's like totally. a murderer and yada yada, but he's also in real life just a bitch. So
yeah, like most serial killers are.
Yeah.
And like John Wayne Casey, a pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jeffrey Dahmer's a punk bitch.
Yeah.
But not a lot of these guys are tough.
Not only is he a killer, but he's also like the CEO of the realty, blah, blah, blah. Those guys, typically pretty soft. They're like tissue paper.
Especially when they got veneers and their hair styled like that.
I fucking love his teeth.
Dude, his teeth were amazing. This should have been the origin story. This should have been the origin story to Tusk.
Dude, his fucking teeth were so ridiculous and awesome. I loved it in every way.
Amazing.
So after this, they knock him off the stage. When he gets back up, Bernie stabs him, and Winnie is sent back to her reality, but not before she and Bernie kiss. Winnie then wakes up in her room in her P. Diddy jumpsuit, and she runs downstairs. She's excited, hugs her parents and her brother, and then Winnie remembers Bernie, so she leaves the house, runs to Bernie's house, and Bernie remembers everything. And the movie ends as they basically get ready to celebrate Christmas together.
And I mentioned satire earlier, and I think this is where we become just drenched in satire, and it becomes a Hallmark movie.
Yes.
Because, like, the parents are just everything you'd want your parent to be after a traumatic event, right? Like, I'm sorry we haven't been present. Here's a new camera for you, a la Alex Cross and violin to his niece. Here's a new camera to make new music, new film to make new pictures. Like, we get it. But, like, they're going above board with everything and over the top. And at first, I didn't catch it. And I was just like, ugh, what is going on? And then I was like, oh, they're taking a piss on the holiday. Like,
yeah,
everybody, it's still Christmas. Like, this was amazing.
Yes.
And
100%.
her grabbing Bernie and, you matter. And she's like, yeah, bitch, I fucking know. Like, you're going to shake me and I'm going to have seizures now. Like, stop.
No,
it's fucking awesome.
No, it's fantastic. And I'm glad you brought up like the Hallmark Christmas of it all, because that was this ending was just picturesque. Like that's exactly what it brought to me was, oh my God, like it all of a sudden turned on its head, and like now it's just a Hallmark movie.
Yep.
And that was definitely not lost on me, and I loved it.
No, it's such a great touch for what we all know is going to happen, where it's a wonderful knife. She comes back and, you know, everything's happy and she has a new appreciation for the world. But now everything has changed. Everybody appreciates her and is talking to her and not just burying the past.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
No,
I love it.
Dude, I loved this movie. Like I said, I've started like deep diving into Shudder and Shudder originals and just some of the older horror movies that Shudder has, and like this one came up on our radar for a few reasons, but I am so glad I watched it because like I've been trying to go back and catch up on like older stuff I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Stuff that came out from maybe a few years ago that I haven't been caught up on or whatever. And then when you suggested this one, I was like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to watch this, and I've heard the scuttlebutt.
Right.
And was like, this would be an interesting movie to do and to watch. But like, yeah, dude, beginning to end, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I couldn't recommend this movie more. If you like horror movies, this is it. I mean, this is what a horror movie is today, or should be. It's funny, it's scary, it has your jump moments, it has a good plot, it's different, it's a little bit unique. You know, I mean, like we've done the multiverse shit with like Happy Death Day and stuff, but still, this is a different take on that.
You were correct.
I loved it. I love the killer. I love the getup, like the whole outfit. The mask was fantastic. I love there's no face.
Yes.
I loved that.
Yep. That was amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I think if you would like to watch this movie, go check it out on Shudder. I think this movie's great. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. But yeah, other than that, I got nothing else. You got anything?
No, check the movie out, man. I'm out.
All right. For Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2023's It's a Wonderful Knife.